All right. Welcome back to the Dialed Up Podcast. This time around, we got a Tuesday edition, but we got a lot to get to, so let's get right into it with some of the weekly recap as these boys crack it open. All right. So, starting off, I didn't get to watch a lot of football this week. I worked third shift on Saturday, so I was sleeping most of the day. I did catch a little bit of that Georgia-Bama game, and standard Georgia sports procedure, have a good sizable lead, and then blow it and get your shit stomped. I mean, what else is new? Atlanta, Georgia. I feel sorry for y'all, man. That is a rough spot. I mean, just heartbreak after heartbreak. Boys, what was your thoughts?
I mean, hey, the Falcons won.
Yeah, but what did it cost?
Everything. No, I mean, so I didn't really get a chance to watch much football either Saturday until me and Callahan and some others went to the bar, and we caught some of the games and kind of kept an eye on. Like, I was watching that UNC game.
Yeah, that was fun.
Laughing my ass off.
Well, we'll get to that.
But
in a minute.
we'll get to that later. I'm just saying that was like one of the only games outside of Miami and Pitt that I really got to watch.
So did you get to watch much of the Bama game? Because if not, I'll go into it.
Well, I did, and I also had another cool point to kind of put into it too, and this was something that I thought about from the perspective of how Georgia came out versus how they ended.
Yes.
And to me, I think it's more so like a lot of people might sit here and blame. People can blame a lot of things for that, right? Like you can blame scheme, you can blame. There's so many different things you can blame. I think it's the strength staff. I think it's their strength and conditioning staff because at the end of the day, I think they just couldn't keep up. But Ohio State was still trucking. Bama was still trucking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's just how Bama's always been built. But I know that they have a new strength and conditioning staff that came from Indiana that's like one of the very best, and like above and beyond a lot of other strength staffs throughout the nation because of the science that they put behind their stuff. And I only know this because my buddy Hunter, he played football for Indiana. He told me about all the crazy shit that they did that was unlike anything that I've ever heard of in any strength program ever. And I had buddies that played different programs, and talking to all of them, I never heard of this shit. And he's like, yeah, so literally Nick Saban just walks into fucking Indiana one day and says, hey, give me your strength staff. Because of how advanced their shit was and how above and beyond it was scientifically for the human body.
Jesus.
So, which it's already like, are you fucking kidding me? Like Bama's already like that far ahead, and now they have to fucking have the best strength staff in the nation, possibly. I'm not gonna make that statement up front, but it's possible. And based off what I was able to watch, also fucking however many beers deep, I was noticing that Georgia's players were getting fucking exhausted once they hit like they were fucking like they came out solid and they surprised Bama, but Bama just kept the same steady, fast, good, solid, strong, aggressive pace throughout the game while you saw Georgia came out whooping ass and then fell back. And
well, a lot of it I feel like not only comes down to yes, the strength and conditioning is a major part of it, right? Your players have to be able to play at that high level
and still be able to focus.
For an entire 4 quarters. But not only that, I mean, the coaching definitely, Georgia got outcoached, and Kirby Smart was just another another Nick Saban protege that couldn't beat the king. I mean, what's that put him at 21, 22-0 against his former assistants or something like that now? But if Georgia came out, they were playing really solid in the first half. They were really competitive. But you cannot have the turnovers. I mean, Stetson Bailey threw 3 interceptions. And if you want to hang with Bama or beat Bama, you can't. You can't do the turnovers. You have to play the cleanest game possible. And honestly, coming into this year, I wasn't that high on Mac Jones, but the kid is he's one of the best quarterbacks in the nation right now. He's playing at an extremely high level. He doesn't make that many mistakes. And of course, they're scheming for him to be successful. They are giving the play calls and putting the game plans together that are really helping his play style. They suit his play style very well, and it's just Bama being Bama. So
right.
And we'll get into this a little bit later, but I don't see anybody in the SEC that's going to challenge Bama.
Well, what's funny is like because we all hold Bama to this way higher class.
Yeah.
And honestly, you know, when you think about it, and you always think about talent, you always think that it's Alabama, and like everybody else. Like I know like some teams compete with them in terms of talent, but you always think Alabama's always going to be a class ahead of everybody.
Yeah, but Georgia has the most talent.
Wasn't say, but
Yeah.
the funniest, because I think you're going to hit what I'm literally leading into is Georgia's got the most 5-star and 4-star talent in the country.
Yeah.
And they just can't seem to get any kind of control in this conference.
And I don't know what the issue is, right? Whether it's whether the scouting staff, you get these kids and they're really well talented, or they just can't handle the how tough the schedule is. If they can't handle that schedule of a Division I athlete, or if it's just a lack of development on the coaching staff, a lack of
Development in the weight room.
Yeah, development in the weight room.
That's what I see.
You can't. I don't know quite what it is, but the disparity is definitely there because Georgia recruits with everybody. Right now they do have the most 4 and 5-star recruits on their roster. So the question remains, like, what is going on there?
I think Alabama just has, it's the mentality that the coaching staff puts on their team every year. Because when you watch them on the sidelines, especially, they're like in a different freaking mode.
Yeah,
They look insanely serious, like
It's the
compared
same
to
thing
other
I see
sidelines.
with Ohio State.
You know what I mean?
It's
like
the same stuff I see there.
You can tell that it's like the Patriots. Like the Patriots, Bill Belichick doesn't give a rat's ass who you are. You're gonna get into this system, and you're either gonna work or you're fucking gone.
Yeah.
I don't care. He'll trade anybody. He'll cut anybody. Doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
That's how I see him and Nick Saban, and that's why they're the best coaches in their respective leagues.
Well, and they're cut from the same cloth. I mean, there's a reason why Nick Saban was Belichick's coordinator when he was with the Browns.
And that's why they fucking meet up and talk football with him. Now, it's funny, too, because, like, those guys clash even though they're fucking, like, boys. You know what I mean? Like, they think... They still have that same mindset and mentality, but that's what makes them clash, too. But, like, yeah, I agree, like, 100% with what you just said. It's a completely different mentality that has become, like, it is set as the standard, and those guys have to meet that standard, and they also need to know that up front, or else, like you said, they're fucking gone if they don't.
Yeah.
So, it's, like, imagine coming into that program. Like, you have a completely different mindset if you get fucking a full-ride scholarship to play football at Ohio University versus Alabama.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're going into Alabama fucking scared and making sure that you do everything as best as you possibly can. Mm-hmm. If you walk into OU, like, after, like, day 5, you're like, where the fuck are we getting some beers, boys?
You know what I mean? You're thinking more about the parties. Right?
Yeah, you're like, where are the bitches at? You know what I mean? Like, that's the thought.
There was one, before we move on to the next game, there was one issue I did see with Bama, and that was their special teams unit, their punting unit.
I didn't see that much.
Their punter was struggling. He had some consistency issues in that game, and I have a feeling that that's going to be a major focal point for the Rolling Tide this week as they continue to go into the season. Because, as we stated, Belichick, Saban, those type of coaches, special teams mishaps and bad execution on special teams don't fly.
Yeah.
But let's get into something that I know Mr. Darby's going to be really excited to talk about, and he had been calling it and calling it and calling it. He knew it was going to happen. We did not expect it to happen.
Didn't think it was going to be this team.
But
right?
gosh damn.
And well, what's funny is I was saying it when I was watching it was I think I told Callahan I was seriously thinking about picking Florida State in that game.
And
I hate
you said
Florida
it on the
State, and I think they're
you said it
trash.
on the podcast.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was one I didn't get to watch.
Time out. All the more reason you should fucking subscribe because we're on top of this shit. Anyways, continue.
I wasn't able to watch this one. I was asleep, and when I woke up, the score fucking shocked me. So let me hear what you boys got to say about this one.
Well, I mean, if it wasn't for a second half comeback, Florida State that first half was almost running away with it. I mean, they controlled that game. Jordan Travis looks like he could be a pretty good quarterback. He didn't really do shit against Miami, but, I mean, he looked like a good quarterback that game. He had I think it was like a 30-something or 40-yard run. Blackman's not the starter anymore. It's
well, that explains a lot then.
Jordan Travis, he's like their mobile quarterback. He's more legs than arm.
Okay.
But he did have some really big plays, mainly on the ground. And their defense, I mean, I think I've hit on it that I've always felt like Florida State's defense has been solid. It's just their lack of offense. Mm-hmm. It's one of the similarities we've had over the year between the two programs. But I just think, dude, I'm not high on UNC, man. I haven't been. I've been saying it since before the season started. They have two great running backs, but you can only rely on your ground game so much.
Yeah.
And Sam Howell, outside of the second half, the comeback didn't look that great to me.
Yeah.
He
still put up good numbers.
No, he
but
still
again,
put up good numbers, but it's in a comeback. You
Yeah.
know, it's where you're forced to throw the ball, so obviously your numbers are going to look better.
Yep. I mean, that's that Kirk Cousins effect, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't really see this upset coming. I was kind of really wanting to do it and say it, but I didn't. You know, I just can't believe they lost a 1-3 at the time, 1-4.
Yeah, 1-3.
So,
Man,
let's get into the game. I know you guys can actually talk about. Let's get into the Pitt Miami game. So, Darby, I want to lead it off with you, and me and Luke can just pop in.
well, I want to give a shout out to the Miami fan base for saying fire Manny Diaz because we only beat Pitt 31 to whatever the fuck Pitt scored.
Are you shitting?
I'm dead ass serious. So they think Rhett Lashley sucks. Manny Diaz should be fired. Blake Baker should be fired.
You think Rhett Lashley sucks?
Yeah. So
Those coaches do? Or are you
yeah.
talking about the fans?
They also want us to bench De'Aaron King. So you know,
What the fuck?
dude, look, this was a solid game. I know Pitt was on a 2-loss streak coming into this game. They were both very close losses. Pitt's got a top 15, top 10 defense. They actually have. It's been debated that Pitt has either the best or a top 3 defensive line in the nation, and they had the sack leader coming into this game, and we handled them. I know it started off kind of slow. I thought our defense really gave up a lot on that first drive, but we held Pitt inside the red zone to 3 field goals, which was perfect. We have a very bend don't break defense. It's shown.
Yeah.
And it's broken against Clemson, but it's been bending most of the year. But I want to give a shout out to Quincy Roche, who he kind of went off. He had I know not really on the stat sheet. It doesn't really show much because I don't think he had I couldn't find a sack.
A half.
He had a sack and a half or half a sack.
1 half sack.
So he had a half sack. He had a forced fumble with the recovery as well. He's now tied for the lead in college football for TFLs.
He had
He's-
4.
Yeah, he's been the quiet guy in this roster and that defensive line because I know Jalen Phillips gets a lot of the praise on that D line because he is a physical freak. Quincy Roche is more your technical guy. His technique's perfect, and he's looking like he'll be a first round draft pick. So it was a good showing by our defense. Offense kind of was. Our wide receivers suck. So big news coming this week was Manny Diaz is opening up the wide receiver core. Everybody is an or on our roster or our depth chart coming into this next game. Everybody's going to play. He's tired of. He said it before that game that the seniors, it's time to put up or shut up, and now he's definitely holding true to that. So shout out to him. He makes changes when he needs to.
The little bit that I saw, it looked like the wide receiver core was playing better. They were catching the ball.
They were playing better in terms of, yes, they caught the ball, and Mike Harley made one play.
Yes.
However, this wide receivers do not know how to create separation.
No.
At all. It's like if our tight ends can't force themselves open, that we can't really move the ball, and
again,
it puts De'Aaron King in a shitty situation.
That was the majority of your passing. It seemed like was Mallory.
Oh yeah, and he had 2 touchdowns. One was a nice fucking play designed by Rhett Lashley to get it was a nice short touchdown throw, but then we had a deep ball to him earlier in the game. But I just Mark Pope, he was catching the ball, but he's just not that explosive. I don't see the explosiveness that we've all expected out of him. Mike Harley's too inconsistent. It's time to see the freshman. We're going to be seeing the freshman now. Run game was kind of lackluster.
Again, that front 7 for Pitt is no joke.
And that's what I was going to say was this front 7's insane for Pitt, and people are ignoring that.
The one thing that I was really surprised with was I did not see
Cameron Harris near as much as I expected to. I mean, he still had 12 carries, but in that first half, it was next to.
If I'm not mistaken, I think he got shaken up a little bit early, and we kind of started rotating.
Because I think I missed the first 2 drives of the game.
Yeah, I think I might be wrong. I can't really remember if I'm blending this game with another game, but I think he got shaken up and got pulled for a little bit.
Okay.
So no, he didn't get that many carries, and then we were in control of that game, so we didn't really need to put him on. I mean, Jalen Knighton and Don Chaney are 2 really good backs. So, but overall, I think because a lot of people are calling out Derek King and his overthrowing of wide receivers and his deep ball inaccuracy, but I really think it's more a lack of chemistry and lack of intelligence in this wide receiver core.
Well, and you have to take into account on that is having confidence and being comfortable in the pocket. When he was throwing under pressure a lot.
I mean, let me go through here and just look. Do they have it? They don't have QB pressures on this stat sheet.
Well, they got QB hurries right there on the right.
Yeah. So there are only 2 QB hurries, but I mean 4 total sacks. So he wasn't comfortable in the pocket.
He was throwing with a face or 2 in his path, and that's why he had a couple deflections. I mean, 5 passes got deflected.
Well, and one thing too was Jared Williams. He didn't play. He had I think they said he injured his hand in practice or during the Clemson game. So Zion Nelson came in and started at right tackle.
Yeah.
Zion Nelson didn't do too bad. Our offensive line didn't do that bad for the defensive line we were going up against. Which, like, a fun stat for you is because we're talking a lot about the Pitt defensive line. We held Pitt to under 30 yards rushing the entire game.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic, regardless of who you're playing or what you want to say about the opponent. That's really damn good. But I thought it was a solid game. I think the fans need to shut the fuck up, personally. I don't care if you want to come in here and bitch. Go ahead, come in and bitch at me, but you're going to look like the fucking idiot because it was a solid performance against a solid team, a solid defense. I don't know what else to hit on there.
Well, let's move on then.
Yeah.
So, boys. AP came out again.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking, I'm sick of AP, dude.
Oof.
This is just absurd. I mean, I it doesn't make any sense. You have Notre Dame who
12-6 against Louisville.
I mean, dude. And then Georgia gets blown the fuck out, and they're still ranked 4th in the country. I don't know what the hell is going on here. I think, personally...
You think Cincy beats Miami? I don't think so. I love our guys.
Well,
I'm a homer.
I'll tell you what.
Like, fuck.
I think Cincy beats Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Texas A&M
I
is
think
ranked 7th in the country.
I think BYU needs to be in the top 5.
I just
Plain
don't
and
think.
simple.
I don't think Cincy deserves to be in there right now. That's an overranking.
I think you do because everyone above you's lost.
That's the only reason they're doing that.
Well, I get that, but
it's
I can justify that better than Notre Dame being 3 coming off the performance they did against a team Miami absolutely shit on.
Well, let me just fuck up the
there's
order
a lot of teams
little bit
after us
So-
that I know would probably beat us.
So this coincides directly, and we were going to talk about this a little bit later. The college football playoff is going to have a major problem this year. So there is a lot of things that are going to happen, and I'm going to pull up the stats page here for you. Okay? So this is the current AP Top 25, and this is why I think the college football is going to have a major problem and a lot of pissed off people and a lot of pissed off programs that have the right to be pissed off with them. Since it is still only a 4-team playoff, you're going to have a lot of teams left out and possibly a lot of undefeated conference champions left out. So, of course, we know Bama is most likely going to get in. They're most likely going to run the table in the SEC. They're going to get in. Clemson, same thing. They're most likely going to run the table in the ACC, and they're getting in. Big Ten champ, if there's no COVID cancellations and they get all the games played,
Which is going to be tough.
Maybe even if one game gets canceled, they may still have a shot. But if Ohio State goes undefeated, I see Ohio State getting in with how the season has played out. Especially if they perform how they are expected to perform. I don't think you would be able to keep that talented of a team and dominant of a team if they perform out of the playoff.
And I think the committee and the pollsters are
Yes.
going to be aware of that situation.
Yes.
and
Well,
kinda
what
give them
about
more
now-
leniency.
How much leeway does how much leeway do these teams in the Big Ten have if they have to postpone?
None.
Exactly.
So,
And
but
you know that there's going to be some postpones.
let me continue here. So then you got BYU, who is undefeated right now, and
Solid
the rest
program.
of their schedule, it goes Texas State, WKU, Western Kentucky,
They're going to
Boise State,
That'll be.
Their resume sucks, man.
Northern Alabama, and South Dakota or San Diego.
That's a terrible resume.
San Diego State University. Okay?
Yeah.
So that would be an undefeated. They're independent, not a conference champ. But they've been playing really well. Right now, they're ranked at 12th. So if we're to take this polling as any indication, Florida, I see losing again. Cincinnati, I don't know if they'll be able to run the table.
Yeah.
Penn State is going to lose. A&M's going to lose again. Oklahoma State has a hell of a 4-game stretch against
I picked them to lose this week.
Iowa State, Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas State are their next 4 games.
So I expect them to drop at least 1, if not 2 of those. Georgia's going to lose again, not just to Alabama in the SEC championship game. They are going to lose again in the conference. Notre Dame's going to lose once or twice. So what BYU is going to be moving up in the rankings.
Then you have the group of 5 situation. Coastal Carolina just beat Louisiana in a really good game, and the Sun Belt has shown to be a pretty competitive conference, not only with itself but also with the Big 12, who has eaten itself alive. I see Coastal Carolina running the table with the rest of their conference. The rest of their schedule shakes out to be Georgia Southern, Georgia State, South Alabama, Troy, Appalachian State's probably the toughest game of those, Texas State, and Liberty. That's the rest of their, and I think Coastal Carolina is a solid ball team. I think they run the table and win the Sun Belt. Then you have Marshall in the Conference USA,
who their schedule looks relatively easy for them as well. The rest of their schedule is FAU, who's only played 1 game, FIU, UMass, Middle Tennessee State, and Charlotte.
They're going to be an undefeated conference champion. Then you have the winner of the American, and I think the winner of that conference is either going to be it's up in the air between Memphis, UCF, SMU, and Cincinnati.
I think UCF might be able to bounce back.
But you have Cincinnati and SMU playing. If either of those 2 teams run the table, that's an undefeated conference champion again right there. So potentially, you have 3 undefeated conference champions from a group of 5. You have an undefeated independent in BYU who is currently ranked 12th in the top 25 and is going to move up as the conference schedules continue to shake out. Then you have the big 3 in Bama, Clemson, and Ohio State. There is going to be a major uproar at the end of this year because there are going to be some teams that should be given an opportunity. They've earned the opportunity as an undefeated conference champion, whether they're group of 5 or not, to be included into the playoff. There's going to be some shit stirred up, and it's not going to be pretty. I've been saying it from the beginning. The playoff needs to be expanded. My personal preference is 16. That's my personal preference. I know people don't agree with me. Some people think 8. I think it needs to be 16. But I want to get your guys' takes because there's going to be some major problems.
I don't really see it. No, I understand. Like, because that's shitty. Like, that sucks. Like, you win your fucking conference, you don't get an opportunity. And I see that happening for a lot of teams, too. So I agree with you.
And you can't say that they wouldn't be competitive because look what the fucking Sun Belt did to the Big 12.
It's the Big 12. The Big
But
12
here's
Yeah,
an honest
but
opinion
the
that I
teams
have.
they beat are at the top of the Big 12, which is considered a fucking Power 5.
Which
Yeah.
did it?
Kansas State and
Yeah, but they're not at the top. Like
Kansas State, Iowa State, they're 2 of the teams at the top of the Big 12 right
I
now.
know, but I can argue that.
But go
Big
ahead,
12
Luke.
Close.
So from an American Conference
Yeah.
point of view and what I've seen in the past, I think if, let's say Cincinnati does go undefeated, hope we do. If we go undefeated and we fucking win the conference, and we don't get an opportunity, and they just say, hey, here's this bowl game, or there's not even a fucking bowl game. They're just like, hey, like, you guys win the fucking conference, here's your ring, like, blah, blah, blah. And then that's fucking it. You know what I mean? Like, like there might be some uproar like, oh, give me my fucking shot, blah blah blah. But bro, I'm telling you right now, Cincinnati does not want that Alabama smoke.
No.
Just like UCF didn't really want that shit, so they were content walking around saying they were national champions, even though they didn't actually legitimately win the national championship. But UCF walked around for months, a year.
Best team in Florida,
saying
but
that-
won't schedule a Florida team.
Yeah, like they were walking around for a solid year saying that they were national fucking champions, and they thought their shit didn't stink. And then next, like, you know what I mean? So I'm seeing, like, I'm talking
Yeah.
about these teams that, if you talk about the best team in the Sun Belt, or you talk about BYU, or you talk about fucking one of the teams in the American Conference, if it's Cincinnati, and we're sitting there like, well, you're not gonna let us play in a national championship, get you Alabama, fucking. Okay, give my ring. Like, whatever.
So,
like, we're not going to be that upset about
my
it.
issue-
I don't see that much uproar.
My issue is I know there's disparity between the top
Big Ten, that's different.
between the top right of
Yeah.
collegiate football and those big three that we talk about,
Yeah.
and the rest, even the rest of the Power Five and into the Group of Five.
Yeah.
My issue comes with if a team has earned the opportunity to play for it and compete for it, whether they're going to get their shit stomped or not, they've earned the opportunity to play for it, and that takes away the opportunity for those great moments that we had. I mean, you think back to the BCS era, Boise State, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
That was a huge underdog. That was a Group of Five team taking down
Yeah.
a national power at the time.
Yeah.
You don't have the potential for those types of things, and that's what makes sports
Yeah.
great.
I agree. I
Is
agree.
that opportunity
So-
in those moments?
We're looking at an opportunity of like some March Madness college football,
Yeah.
basically. And I'm 100% with that. I'm totally cool with that.
I think that would be far
think
more entertaining.
it would be extremely entertaining. It would be so much fun, and it would be a way better reason to fucking get the fuck out of your house and get hammered and fucking tailgate. Because we
and
need that again.
Not just that, but in terms of the kids, like the players on those Group of Five teams, they go through their career at these smaller schools, not necessarily getting to play on a national stage, right?
Yeah.
Getting that exposure. If you include them into a national playoff, you could possibly make or break a player's life,
Yeah.
because if they show up in the college football playoff and ball out against a national power, now you have scouts and stuff looking like, oh shit, where's this kid been? Let me look at some more film of this dude.
Yeah.
What's he been up to?
I agree
Let's
with
invite him to a workout. And I think it just provides more opportunities to the kids. And if that's just, I think it needs to be expanded to this 16-team playoff. Every other division of football has a playoff that's at least 16 teams, whether it be Division 1 AA to fucking Division 3 to NAIA, JUCO. There's all playoffs. Some of them go out to fucking 24 teams. So there's no reason that it can't be done. Darby, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I completely disagree with 16 teams. I think 8's fine, because I think with 8 you can take, because I don't agree with. I understand the March Madness aspect where everybody that wins their conference gets a chance. I think it should be more of the conference champions that dominated their opponents in those smaller conferences,
Or the
Right.
undefeated.
Conferences.
I agree with that.
that they should get the chance, because I think like an 18 playoff gets you the ability to put those teams in and then get some at-larges of other teams that were like, man, we got fucked. Like a TCU from back in 2014, where you get that, well, we got fucked. We should have been in, not Ohio State. You get to fit in those at-large bids I think that would shut people up more than 4's too small.
Yeah.
I think 16's too big. I feel like 8's just right in terms of this major college football, because I know I just feel like those smaller outlets, they work better there because you're not having to worry about TV scheduling and shit like that. I feel like a 16 team would be way too much
And
for football.
there is another reason why I feel like a 16 would be good, and this is just my personal opinion on it, is if you think about the entire college football landscape, right? You have the major schools, those big time schools that dominate recruiting because the kids know, hey, we're going to be able to compete for a national title and get a possibility to play on national TV and maybe go to the next level, right?
Right.
Big schools don't always work for kids. Some kids like a smaller school with smaller sizes, and that's just what they're more comfortable with. And say you went to a 16-team playoff, and like I pitched, you had all conference champions got an automatic bid. If you know every conference has an automatic bid for their champion, I think the recruiting starts to even out a little bit as time would go on, because kids wouldn't be like, oh, if I got to take this big time offer if I want a chance to compete for a national title. Now they know, oh, this group of 5 team, this fucking Boise State, I can go to Boise State and compete for a national title if we win the conference.
Right.
And I think that you would start seeing some more big time talent, high school talent, start going to some smaller schools, and that would start to even out and widely disperse the talent, the high school stars into the national scene. And I think that would benefit college football as a whole, make the entirety of college football more competitive and be less top heavy than it is now.
I disagree on that though, in terms of the recruiting, because mainly I feel like you're always going to deal with this where these very prestigious programs are just going to dominate recruiting, mainly because of facilities. I think because your biggest argument against that is college basketball. You got a 64 team tournament, but you can count on Kansas.
Yeah.
Kentucky. You can go ahead and pick. I'm
Indiana,
going to be blanking right now because we're in a college football.
Yeah.
We're going to be on a college football, so it's hard for me to go and shelf over to who's good in basketball. But those guys dominate. I mean, they dominate basketball recruiting. It's like, oh, I've got Valparaiso did this Cinderella story. I'm going to go to them, and then Kansas goes, hey, how about you come play basketball? Okay, fuck you guys. I'm going to go to Kansas.
Yeah, I see that.
So
too.
I feel like it's the same way where it's, oh man, did you see Marshall almost got into the semifinals? It's like, oh, I'm going to go there. They just offered me, I'm going there. And then Nick Saban comes and goes, hey man, here's your scholarship offer. I'm going to Alabama. So it's always going to be there. And it's not just because they're the name brands. It's because that's where the money's been for 50 I'd say 50 years because football got the biggest money. But I just feel like it doesn't even out recruiting. It will help those Cinderellas in a little bit, but it's not going to even out recruiting across college football because those guys with the most money already that have the great facilities. Yeah. Because you believe it, that's how programs and that's how the programs rise is they put the money into their facilities. But those other ones that get even that Cinderella story is not going to pay out that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, but here's another thing that's so crucial about college football. Now, this is majority of college sports, but basketball is a completely different ball game because you got a team of fucking 10, 11 dudes. You know what I mean? You have 12, however many guys. You're under fucking 20 on your roster, right? I was pretty sure that's correct. I don't fucking know basketball.
I'm a wrestler. I don't watch basketball.
Yeah, fucking whatever. But you're talking about 120 fucking dudes now. If you're sitting there now, legitimately, because guys think about this coming out of high school too. If you're at the point where you're legitimately getting those Division I scholarships and you're trying to think about where you want to play, if you're not getting any big time offers, like I think back on not only myself but other guys that I played with, and how the recruiting process went. And if you get your first Big Ten offer and that's getting near the end of the line, you fucking take that Big Ten. You know what I mean? You're taking that shit. Yeah. Now, if you're at the point though where you are a legitimate superstar and you've got all these SECs and you've got all these ACCs and the Big Tens and you've got everything and you have everything just kind of right there in front of you.
Then you search for the school that's the right fit for you.
You go for the one where you know you're going to be a fucking superstar. In Alabama, you're not always going to be the superstar as much as you think you'd like to. So those guys who are fucking dominant that can fucking ball out, they're not thinking Alabama. They're thinking, I'm going to go to a badass SEC or ACC school, or I'm going to go to a badass Big Ten school, or I'm going to go somewhere where I know that I'm for sure going to get on that playing field by the time I get through this redshirt year. And I'm going to get some PT on my second year, maybe a little bit, just so I can kind of learn the ropes. And then that third year, I'm fucking in it.
It's me.
And then my last 2 years of college, I'm starting for 2 years, and then I'm going to the league. So if you go to Alabama, your spot is never, ever secured, ever.
No.
It's very rare that your spot is 100% set. So that's where I disagree.
Because I'll counter that with me disagreeing with how you say that. Like the superstars, they want to go somewhere where they can be the superstar, but we never see that. You don't see that in college football.
You see that all the time, though.
Not in recruiting, you don't. That's why all the superstars in college football or in high school football, they go to the major programs. Because that's where the national TV exposure is. Regardless of, that's where the best competition is. Because honestly, I know a lot of that. I want to be the best man on my team, but it's extremely rare that those guys do that.
It's
you know what I mean? Like
I can only preach off of. I wouldn't say it's extremely rare.
What just off of what you see, because I mean, I mean, like the best examples. I mean, I can only name one 5-star recruit that's ever gone away from a Power 5.
So then why is Georgia getting all these 5 and 4 stars? They didn't win a national championship in how
Well,
long?
but it's a name.
Because well,
What's
that
the name,
yeah,
but-
it's a name, facilities, our SEC. Regardless of how you want to say, it's an SEC school that's going to finish top 3 almost every year in their conference. And then look at it. You got to, it's Georgia. They're going to go ahead and their only question mark game where you're like, oh, well, Alabama could beat them. Well, it's okay. Well, Alabama's going to beat them, and they're just going to drop one spot and stay in the top 5 anyways.
And they're still getting the national spotlight. They're still getting that.
Because they don't fall off. So
Yeah.
it's, it's just, that's why, like, that's what I'm going off of, is these powerhouse programs. It doesn't matter if you have a fucking 64-team tournament. It doesn't matter, because that's where the facilities, the television exposure, not just at an NCAA tournament level, a television exposure throughout the year. That's where it is. That's where the money is in college football. That's where players are going to go.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I get what you're saying, because those people have that mentality. Well, fuck that. I want to go be the best. But
maybe it's
rare
more me
that.
trying to spit the knowledge of like saying to like any high schooler that could possibly be fucking thinking about this is like, go where you're gonna play, dude. But that's the advice from any old man who's been through it. You know what I mean? Like, don't go somewhere where all the big dogs are going. Or you're
like
not
my
gonna
advice
stay.
would be take the fucking money. Like I was only offered 3 preferred walk-ons, and all of them were MAC. Well, I guess WKU was one of them. But I'm like, I'm going to take the scholarship and go NAIA.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm not somebody that I didn't play sports in high school. I didn't get recruited. I can only speak off of what I watch, because I pay attention to a lot of the recruiting battles that happen, especially like with Florida mainly, because that's where Miami is, and that's where a lot of the big time recruiting battles happen between schools like Miami or like UCF and all these FAU trying to fight against fucking Alabama and Clemson and Georgia. Dude, they come down there and just be like, yeah, we want you, and they're like, okay. Yeah. They're like, and I'm talking like the superstars at that level, like they're, and then you got, it's like if they're not going to go there, well then they're going to go to Miami, or even UCF you could argue, but their recruiting still isn't good at all. They're just a developing program. But I think we're going to get stuck down a rabbit hole right now.
I think you made some really good points, Darby. I think ultimately that was a really good discussion, but we can all tell that there's going to be some issues at the end of this. There's going to be somebody that's left out of the show. Yeah. So with that said, the Big Ten is back, baby. Big Ten football starts this weekend. I am so fucking excited for it. I do not work Saturday, so I get to watch every fucking second of it. But here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you the 3 games that my eyes are really on. We're going to make some picks, and then I want to get each of you guys' pick for the Big Ten East and Big Ten West champion, and then the Big Ten Conference champion. All right? So starting off, Michigan and Minnesota. The Golden Gophers are
Minnesota. I'm not going to even question that one.
Okay, Darby.
You're going to hate me.
You're going Michigan.
I'm going Michigan.
That's dumb.
I think still, even though I hate on Michigan so much, I think that Michigan's a way more talented team. I feel like this early on, first game of the year, I will pick more towards talent than I will.
Oof.
I want to. I do, because I hate Michigan. I hate Jim Harbaugh, but damn it.
I'm 100% on...
And I knew you both were.
I'm 100% on the Golden Gophers here. I mean, obviously, that was my pick to win the Big Ten West. So,
how many guys do we got trying to transfer out of there right now?
Out of Michigan?
Yeah. How bad are those vibes right now?
Well, I have...
Who the fuck is motivated to play for Jim Harbaugh?
I know...
Nobody.
I know a little bit more about that situation, but I can't say anything. So...
Why not?
It's just, I don't think it's my place, but
We can say insider sources. It's not like you're naming names here.
Yeah, well, the vibes are very bad there, and, I mean, players are not wanting to play for that coaching staff because the coaching staff is feeling the pressure from the administration, and what happens when coaches feel pressure from administration, head coach puts it on to the assistant coaches, they start putting that pressure on the players, and it's not a good environment to be in or perform under, and tensions and everything are really starting to rise.
Head
and
coach starts to distance himself from everybody because he knows there's a chance he might get fucking
Well,
fired.
you know what can bring a team together? A nice big win to start a season.
And
I know, dude.
Harbaugh gets fired. At
That's
the end
my.
of the
That was
season.
one of my
That's-
upset picks this week.
So-
That's pretty much why I'm going off it. Okay, guys,
so
just bear with me.
That is, like, that's the first big game, and I'm
If-
really excited for that game. I think that's going to be a good game.
If Michigan pulls it off, I'll come in middle fingers next week.
Now,
That's fair.
how about
I'm not too
Iowa
confident.
and Purdue? Luke.
I'm gonna take Purdue.
Okay.
I think Purdue's kind of on the up, not like up and coming big time, but like I think they've improved. And I think they're gonna try and build off that. And I haven't seen anything from Iowa that makes me think like they're a huge threat. So
Okay.
like, I'm gonna say Purdue. Fuck it.
Yeah, I know. Like with Iowa, you can already expect a solid defense.
Yeah.
I mean, they're always
Yeah.
defensively, they're always solid. Offensive line solid. Tight end solid. But outside of that, no, I don't see any offensive firepower. I'm all in on Purdue when it comes to this game, especially.
I am all in on Purdue as well. I picked them to beat them in my predictions article. I was missing or lost their quarterback. Purdue has Rondale Moore and
That's the big thing for
and
me.
is it Bell? Who's the other wide
I
receiver?
can't remember the name of. I think it might be Bell.
So
David
two,
Bell, I think is his
yeah,
name,
two
something like that.
big time NFL talent receivers. I think Purdue is going to win that
And
one.
Braum knows this is
Yeah.
last. This
Well,
is it with Rondale.
Braum may not be able to coach this game.
Oh, he's got the. Is he got the?
Yeah.
Oh, he's got the Rona.
He's got.
Ooh,
the
that's a
Rona.
big problem though.
Yeah,
Does
that's
he run the offense? Is he the offensive coordinator? Or is he the defense? Is he? I don't know
remember.
what side he is.
but that's going to be a big.
Either way, I still the star power on
Yeah.
Purdue's side.
And like you said, we revert back to talent. Purdue's the more talented team. Okay, then I want score predictions for this one because we all know where we're going to pick on this. Ohio State, Nebraska. Give me score predictions.
I would say 42, 42-28.
Really?
Ohio State. Yeah.
Really? Okay. Darby.
52-17. I think Nebraska starts off. I think they're going to start off solid in like the first quarter. Ohio State tends to have a slow start. I think Nebraska has the weapons there to be able to kind of look kind of like, oh, and then Ohio State just comes in and absolutely waxes their ass and shuts them out for the rest of the game.
73 to
game.
10.
Damn.
Whoa.
I know I told you the spread was way too low in that game, but damn it, that's a lot.
How many times Ohio State has been known to put up 70?
I know, but first game with
Yeah.
all the situation, and
Wait,
it's
they-
Nebraska.
they-
Nebraska has talent
they-
regardless
they've
of their
been-
schedule.
They've been itching to play. We are way more talented than they are. Justin Fields has been itching to get back on the field. Ryan Day has that team fired up. I think it's going to be a blowout game.
All right.
What'd you say?
42-28. 28.
So-
Sorry,
said
42-28. Yeah, sorry.
That's my
What'd
prediction.
you say again?
I said 73 to 10.
Because I'm writing this down.
Because
That's a crazy.
hey, I'm feeling it.
All right.
All right, now Luke, Big Ten West champion,
Minnesota.
Minnesota, Mark.
Minnesota. Minnesota. I love that fucking dude. I love that quarter zip with the tie, man. It's fucking too
The
fresh.
bald head with the
Yeah,
sunglasses.
It's so fresh. It's not even funny.
All right.
And because like I want to see Minnesota win against Wisconsin, so Wisconsin gets pissed off and wants to start a fucking rivalry. Because I'm sick of seeing these two teams just be buddy.
Yeah.
I want to see a rivalry because our rivalry obviously is really fucking boring. That's my take. So
All right, Darby.
So, after looking at Wisconsin's schedule,
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to fall off.
Yeah.
I think they're going to drop 3 or 4 games this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just off looking at their schedule mainly because I've got Minnesota in the conference championship, winning the Big Ten West. However, I think it's going to come down to a game. You want to know who?
Who?
Wisconsin.
Northwestern. I'm high on Northwestern. Dude, they've got the seniors. This is that year that we like to talk about.
Have
This
you
is
been
that-
reading my article?
I read it the one time, and I know you're pretty high on Northwestern too. But I think Northwestern. It's going to come down to that game, which I think's late in the year, if I remember right from reading it.
Yep. I have Northwestern losing 3 games: Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Purdue.
Yeah, see, I have them. I can see them beat. I have them beating Purdue and Wisconsin. That's why I say I think Wisconsin's going to fall off because you look at that schedule. I can see Wisconsin dropping to Purdue, maybe
See-
Michigan. I have them losing to Northwestern, Minnesota.
Here's my thing with Wisconsin's schedule. I think they're a good enough team a solid enough team to beat Purdue and Michigan and Northwestern. the reason I picked them to lose to Minnesota is, one, I'm really high on Minnesota. I think they're a really talented team, really well-coached team. But that's the fourth game of a really tough 4-game stretch. I think having multiple rough games and close games in a row is more difficult, and that's why I have a big reason why I have them losing to Minnesota. But I don't know. I could see Northwestern looking at their I could see them pulling off the upset over Wisconsin. I could see them beating Purdue too. I could see them. Yeah,
I'm telling you, dude.
they-
I think
they are my
I think
sleeper.
them and Minnesota are going to be undefeated coming into that game. Well, now I say that.
Yeah.
I think they'll drop the ball to Michigan. Minnesota, but
I think
I think it's going to come down to that game.
I think Northwestern is definitely the sleeper for the Big Ten. Now, I'm pretty sure we're all going the same way on the Big Ten East.
Oh, you mean the Big Ten in general?
Yeah. So,
No pick. Oh, OCO. Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
And then your conference championship picks. Ohio State.
State.
All right. So,
since we're on the picks mood, let's get into. Oh, I'm glad you
You
said it.
skipped over it.
I'm
not
glad
letting
you said
I'm
it.
not going to let you keep going.
we coming back to the main cam. Darby.
I'm grabbing the helmet, but they're not who exactly I'm putting on notice. Because it's mainly about you, motherfuckers. The NCAA, I'm putting you guys on notice. You guys have been investigating this team for 2 years, looking into improper use of funds by a booster. And we literally, I remember sitting there watching it when OBJ was giving them money on live fucking TV after the national championship. I remember like watching it and I'm like, dude, did it, what?
Yep.
And here I am, you know, I because it's like hard for me to not bring up Miami, but it's especially perfect for this one. Yeah, you had to hear about Miami players getting put on yachts, having parties with strippers, and having their meals paid for. And we had a 2-year ban, lost like 24 fucking scholarships total, and my God, you've got a guy literally giving players money on national television, and it wasn't even talked about. Like the commentators are watching it, and how do you not say something?
Yeah.
Like, and honestly, and regardless of how you feel, whether players should get paid or not, it's like weed, okay? We all think weed should be legalized, but it's not. And if someone's gonna go smoke a J in a fucking on national television in a state where it's illegal, you're gonna be like, yo, why does he not get arrested, but I will? So
Yeah.
that's the same situation. You know, you've got Odell Beckham Jr. giving them money on national television. Coach O, now the rest were stepping into allegations. We don't know, it hasn't been 100% fact. But you have Ed Orgeron ignoring rape allegations made against Darius Geis. An LSU booster stealing $500,000 from a hospital to pay LSU families. And, you know, and the funniest part about the OBJ situation was when it first happened, the LSU's went, oh, no, that was fake money.
Yep.
That was fake money. No, it wasn't. And
Why the fuck would you be handing out fake money, and why would those guys be smiling that big over fake money?
in the cherry
You don't
on
smile like that over Monopoly money.
the cherry on top, I remember when Ohio State had their players selling personal the shit that they were given, okay? Like, it's personal. I know it was
Gold pants, championship
yeah.
rings.
to get tattoos, and everyone's like, put the hammer down, you know, give them the hammer. And fucking OSU took the self-imposed bowl ban of a year and lost some scholarships. Then you step into the world of this joke of a self-imposed punishment of 8 scholarships total and Odell Beckham Jr. being banned from LSU for 2 years.
Dude, if the
It's
NCAA
fucking
does
stupid.
not step in and impose some real sanctions, that's fucking absurd. That is just ridiculous. I mean, because you go back to, like, the sanctions that were imposed against Miami, USC,
Yeah.
Ohio State, even going back to SMU. What was that? That was a booster paying the players.
Yep.
They gave them the fucking death penalty. So, I mean, this is a complete joke. And literally, Ohio State's sanctions were more severe than this. And the fucking violations were way less severe than what LSU has done here. So, I mean, that is just 100% a joke.
And I get, like, because we're going off of now we're going off of where the NCAA either accepted, in their case, they accepted Ohio State's self-imposed ban as being
Yes.
punishment enough. Miami, they gave us the hammer. Almost, I had to hear it forever that Miami should get the death penalty for a booster having parties with fucking players, yacht strippers, and yachts and shit. And here, it would be a joke because the difference is the NCAA hasn't punished them yet.
Yes.
My problem with the NCAA is you've been investigating him for 2 fucking years, and we watched it on national television happen. What you're investigating him for?
Yeah.
On national television, dude. It's like I'm gonna investigate this guy for murder, and I'm gonna go watch him shoot a person on the news, and I'm still gonna investigate it for another year
Yeah.
because maybe he didn't do it.
Yeah.
They favor the SEC so fucking hard, and everyone's known it. Everyone's known what the SEC's been doing for years, and they just
And we know why. It's because they're the fucking
They're the
money
money.
maker.
that's
Yeah.
where the money is. They're the winners. They're the
They
bread
don't want-
basket.
they don't want to lose their money.
They're the team the AP puts in all the top 25 and then says they're all fucking great, even though they don't play anybody outside of the fucking SEC. But
Agreed.
the NCAA it's been a joke. I mean, to get half of its evidence against Miami, it had to bribe fucking witnesses and shit, which ended up was the reason why they didn't give us the death penalty, is because everyone's like, wait, the NCAA did what? Fuck them. And it turned into literally everyone was rooting for Miami, which was the first in college football history. It's I'm being serious, dude. Everyone.
I'm reading this
Oh,
one
you're reading
guy's
the
comment.
comments.
Also, school formally announced that they will forego the college football playoff this year as punishment.
It's
That's good shit. Who is that? Give him
Oh,
credit.
fuck. I'm sorry.
no, you're good. So I think the only light at the end of this tunnel is that investigation's still going.
Yeah.
And that self-imposed thing was an absolute joke move, dude. That is a joke.
Oh, 100%.
And everyone's calling it out. So now I feel like the NCAA, it's going to be another Miami situation where they ended up dropping the investigation against Miami when they got found out they were bribing. I think it's going to be the same situation where they're going to see this pressure coming in about what the fuck, man, on this self-imposed thing, and they're just going to, I feel like they might drop the hammer, but I'd still be surprised if they do.
Yeah.
I don't see it happening. It's just unbelievable. And LSU, thank you for finally showing what the SEC's been doing. Because I feel like you weren't the only program doing it. So,
Yeah.
and everyone's known about it. So,
Well,
Yeah.
Now, let's get into some of these picks, all right? So, we're going to start out with our CBS Pick'em, all right? We're going to go through the list of the games, and these are my picks up on the board. And then we're going to add one game to the end of it. We're adding the Cincinnati SMU game,
yeah, I gotta fucking,
all right?
I gotta
No,
pull
I'm
my
pissed
picks
that
up.
wasn't on there.
So, as these guys pull up, for those of you that don't know, we do a pick'em contest. We started it a little late. Let me pull this up.
I think we started after week one.
We started it
Week two.
at week 3 is when we started. So the current standings are: I am in the lead with 27 points. Darby's in second place with 21, and Callahan is in third with 20.
Because I didn't pick for a week.
Yep, you fucked up.
I fucked up. Big
But hey, you gotta accept it. That's your score.
I was boozing.
So starting off with Auburn, Ole Miss. Obviously, I'm taking Auburn in this matchup.
Ole Miss, Auburn's overrated.
I agree. Auburn is definitely overrated. I still think that Auburn will beat Ole Miss.
I'll take 400 yards against Alabama's defense for 500, please. And I'm taking Ole Miss.
This one was really tough for me to pick, but I just don't see Florida State performing that well again twice. I don't know. I may switch it back to Florida State.
This is it. You're locking it
I
in on the
know.
podcast, or you're fucking.
All right, Luke, give me your pick.
Louisville.
I'm Louisville.
Yeah,
I think Louisville's offense is going to get the ball rolling after Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm honestly, it's either Louisville's defense was actually finally stepped up for once,
Yeah.
or Notre Dame is just what I've been saying for
But-
ever.
that one was really difficult for me to pick. I have North Carolina on a bounce back game against NC State.
NC State.
NC State.
I'm taking UNC.
Okay.
If it wasn't coming off a loss, I actually would have picked this game for my upset. But I think coming off a loss, Mac Brown's gonna have that team kind of fired up.
Okay. We already picked this one.
Yep.
No need to even talk about it. Oklahoma, TCU, boys.
TCU.
TCU. Okay.
I got OU.
I got Oklahoma as well.
Bama, Tennessee.
Bama.
I mean, after
I
Tennessee,
picked against Bama once.
after Tennessee's
All right.
performance.
It's the wall.
All right, moving on. Baylor, Texas.
Texas.
Yeah, I got Texas. I had both OU and Texas come
Yeah.
bouncing back.
And we already discussed this one. I got Purdue,
Purdue.
You got Purdue.
Yeah.
and Darby's got Purdue as well. Notre Dame versus Pitt.
No, you skip one.
Oh,
Yeah.
I did. Iowa State and Oklahoma State.
Iowa State. Coach Campbell. Let's go.
Iowa State, baby.
All right, I'm sticking with.
The Cowboys to remain undefeated.
All right. So now go down to Notre Dame and Pitt.
Notre Dame.
Pitt. I'm taking Pitt because I really do think their defense is legit. And if Notre Dame struggles against a Louisville fucking defense, have fun, guys. It's
Yeah.
gonna be a good show, and I'm gonna enjoy watching you guys lose.
I would not be opposed to that one. I'd be happy.
I would not
with
be able to
that one.
guess the score of that because I feel like it's going to be a defensive battle, so it's
Yeah.
going to be low scoring.
All right. Penn State versus Indiana.
Penn State.
Penn State.
All right, we're all on the same page there. WVU, Texas Tech. This one was really difficult for me to pick. I'm still not sure if I'm sold on it.
Where's this game at?
I think it's at Texas
Texas
Tech.
Tech.
I'm taking Texas Tech just because of that. I was at West Virginia, but now I'm gonna take Texas Tech.
I'm taking Texas Tech.
I'm going to stick with West Virginia. South Carolina, LSU.
LSU.
South Carolina.
South Carolina, 100%.
LSU's about to fall apart.
Oh, especially after that shit. You're right.
You can switch it.
Yeah, I just switched it.
All right, we already talked about Minnesota, Michigan.
Going blue for one game. Make me right.
You don't say that shit in this basement.
Hey, I'm just saying, just make me right for one game.
You can. No, you do not.
I'm
say
doing
that
it
shit.
off no fucking basis outside of I just want an upset.
All right,
Michigan's
Miami,
gonna
Virginia.
Miami.
Miami, baby.
Miami. All right, now time for the last one. It's not on this. Cincinnati, SMU, boys. Let's go back to old ESPN and pull it up here. So, Luke, talk me through it. I know you got some thoughts on it.
I'll be honest. I'm timid, but at the same
Yeah.
time, like,
I'm timid.
like for real, man. If we don't come out hot, we ain't got a shot in fuck of really winning this ball game. But I think we're home for this, so we're not.
Are you? Usually,
I thought we were.
Usually, you put the home team on the right.
You're right. I thought we were home.
Let me pull it back up. Got to scroll back down.
I might be totally wrong there. Wait,
Yeah, it's in Texas.
It's my first legit road game. I don't know. SMU can fucking play, clearly. And we've been on some fucking bullshit lately. But we've been able to battle through and come back and win. So I like that. I'm telling you, this is going to be a good fucking ball game all around. I know that as a fact. I think we can still win this, though. I think our defense is going to fucking hold tight and we're going to be able to hold these dudes. Because the one thing that I did see about SMU's offense is they weren't solid. They weren't consistent. They weren't anything that, like, I thought was a huge threat. They had some big plays here and there, but off of some blown fucking bullshit that they were dealing with Memphis, which is what happens with Memphis because Memphis isn't fucking disciplined.
Yeah.
Our defense is fucking disciplined. We're just not the biggest, the fastest, or the strongest, but we're disciplined. So I think our defense will be able to handle SMU's offense. And then I'm just going to be fucking begging to God that we don't fucking have some stupid-ass turnovers on offense. That's the only thing that could possibly fuck this up for us.
Darby.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Say it, SMU. He says SMU. What do you say?
You do yours. I'm still thinking.
So, I am taking SMU.
That's all right.
I am really concerned with the lack of offense production out of Cincinnati thus far.
Yeah.
It's a big concern. If this is the game that they turn it around, I would be really, really excited to see that. Obviously, I'm going to be rooting for them to win.
I want them to win. But I learned my lesson on going with, how we feel in the Miami Clemson game
Versus
and
what
really
makes sense.
versus using my head and thinking
Yeah.
analytically.
Well, hey, coming into that game, even
But still, I should have
know.
known better because it was Clemson. But anyway, SMU, I've been really impressed with their offense. They have some firepower there, and I mean, just looking at the scores, they put up above 30 every game. And I mean, I know they haven't really played. They didn't get to play TCU. Texas State was the only real close game, and Texas State team has kind of fallen off. Memphis was a close win. Tulane was even a close win. I have questions about SMU's defense, but again, Cincinnati's offense hasn't impressed me this year. I'll be rooting for the Bearcats, but I have to go with my gut and say SMU takes it.
So I think this game is going to be a fucking shootout. I think this is going to look like a no defense game, in my opinion. It's going to be high scoring, lots of fucking blown plays. But when it comes to shootouts, I like to always take the team with the better defense. And when I look at yards allowed, SMU's given up 400 yards a game. And I've always been very high on SMU. I've picked SMU on several of the games that we've had on Pick'ems. Give me fucking Cincinnati, dude. I really do. I part of me wants to with SMU, like I said, because I'm kind of a homer with them. I've always liked SMU. I love their offense. I just feel like when it comes to shootouts and games where we think it's going to be tight, it comes down to what defense we feel is going to step up and make a play. I have a lot more faith in Cincinnati's defense than I do SMU's defense. And also, did their star receiver ever come back? SMU.
Oh,
That's right.
That's a big thing to me.
I forgot he got hurt.
I don't remember.
Because he was carrying the one game we watched of them. He was absolutely carrying that
That was
offense.
Memphis.
It wasn't Memphis.
Yep.
No, it wasn't Memphis.
Was
It
it?
was,
I thought it was
it was the
Memphis.
game before Memphis.
Didn't they have some injuries against Memphis?
He's
though,
number
too?
8.
Didn't they have like 2 guys, big time guys, go down against Memphis?
Roberson. Reggie Roberson.
So
Did he play against Memphis? Or do they have any kind of injury
game
update on him?
stats. Memphis, he did play.
Okay, so he's fine. And he had 243 yards.
Wait, did he? Is that the game he got hurt?
I thought that was the game he got hurt.
No, what? It was not, because we were watching it. We didn't watch the games this week.
We saw.
Wait,
that
Did
was
they have a
last
bye
week.
week last week?
Yeah.
Oh.
That was last week.
Oh, shit. So
that was the game
is
that we watched.
Okay.
Yeah, because
It says status active.
it was his knee that buckled, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was him.
Okay.
That was Memphis.
I didn't realize that was Memphis.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, because Memphis played UCF last week. Fuck am I talking?
Yep.
Is it?
Yeah, he did not play They played Tulane. He did not play in the Tulane game.
Yeah, I'm taking Cincy. I think he's too good of a weapon.
He wasn't the only weapon that went down, too. There was another guy from SMU who went down pretty bad, too. I can't remember who it was, but...
So, give me the fucking Bearcats, dude.
Fucking go.
I think this will be a nice proving win for you guys, and that'll prove your resume and make you feel a little more comfortable with you guys being in the top 10
I hope
and
so.
ing up.
Yeah, and
So,
hopefully hold our guys to a higher standard.
Real quick, I am just pulling up the box score to look at SMU's receiving. Yes, he did not play.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's some big news. I completely forgot about him being out. I still gotta take SMU. I think they're off.
Well, they still had 3 wide receivers last week go for 100
Yeah.
plus.
So,
But that's their offense.
but
They're an air raid offense.
I think that is going to be a really good game. Luke, what's got you dialed up, brother?
Man, I knew I had something really good dialed up earlier. Can't really think of it at the moment. Oh, I'm making fucking moonshine this week, by the way. Oh, is that illegal?
You can't sell it. You can make it. You can't sell it.
Okay, yeah, I'm making it.
and not
selling.
and he's not
And
selling
I'm
it.
not selling it. Please do not try this at home.
Look at
And
LSU, not him.
Don't drink unless if you're of age, and if you do so, do it respectfully
Responsibly.
and responsibly, and do not drive. Thank you. Moonshine.
Darby.
I'm dialed up to watch some Ohio State. I know, I'm a Miami fan at heart. Ohio State's number 2 of mine, and I might I might watch it with my grandpa because I typically watch a lot of high state games with him.
Well, it looks like I'm going to be here with the 4 TVs by myself. Boys.
Maybe it's not set in stone. I got to see what they're doing. But I'd like to at least watch the first game with him. It's just kind of a tradition. So
Yeah.
I look forward to hopefully spending some time with him and watching the Buckeyes roll Nebraska.
Very nice.
And go you.
Okay.
We know where the love is.
So for me, Rach and I we're starting the house hunting process. We're starting to look at houses. So that's what's got me dialed up. I'm waiting for the confirmation, but we should be going and taking a look at one house on Saturday morning. So
Alright.
Saturday's going to be a good day.
Where are you looking at?
Right now, we're looking up in Westerville.
You son of a bitch.
We'd only be there for a couple years.
Son of a bitch.
What about me?
Fuck you guys. Fuck both of you. I'll hold down the fort in Grove City.
I'm not doing it an hour and 20-minute commute every fucking day. Okay? Fuck you.
Fuck you. It's better than going up there, so I'll live with it. Get dialed up, baby.
Y'all have a good one.
Well, hey, before
What?
and before
What you got?
hey, no, before you go, hit the social media.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
hit the
Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out on everything, whatever platform you prefer to use. I guarantee you we're on it, and we're going to be doing updates consistently. The more that we see people buy in, you guys enjoy what we got, I can guarantee you we're just going to give you more and more. You just let us know.
So-
follow and subscribe. We're there.
Yep. Like he said, we're going to have a link to our podcast website in the description of the YouTube video. For those of you listening on Spotify and iTunes podcast, we're on iTunes, we're on Spotify, we're on TuneIn, YouTube. We stream the episodes on Twitch. Each of us have a Twitter. We have the Dialed Up Twitter. They both are running Instagram. Follow the boys. Communicate with us. Talk to us. Give us your opinions. Tell us when
got you dialed up.
Tell us when we're stupid. And y'all have a blessed week. We'll see you Saturday.